Hello, hello. Welcome, you who was for some reason already on the Twitch stream and thus are here at minute 1. This is the Lunch Zone Serious Play, baby. I'm your host. I'm Eric Kirsting. I like playing video games. I hope you like playing video games because that's what we're gonna do today. I'm a PhD student at UW-Milwaukee, and I'm joined by.
Hello, I am Ren. I also like playing video games, although I think Eric's substantially better at it than I am. Every time I watch you play, I'm like, man, I wish I had those skills.
Well, thank you.
But I'm an MA student at UWM as well.
All right, and today we are playing Hades. It's a new game. Kind of new. I mean, it depends on what your definition of new is. It's new in that it was released this week. It's old in that it's been floating around in early access since 2018. So, I don't know. So maybe 2019. I don't know. But it's new to me. Hades is a game where you play as Zagreus, a Greek god, the son of Hades. And you're trying to get out of hell, because why would you want to be in hell? You can turn on hell mode. What's this? For those unafraid, I'm starting a new save, but make your life harder.
Oh, man.
I don't think I'm a veteran of the cycle of death and rebirth, and I don't know if I seek a purer, more challenging experience. Let's just play the normal mode.
That's kind of how Supergiant always designs their games, right? All difficulty is your choice, instead of just signing up for some sort of specific difficulty mode. I suppose that's the closest they've gotten in anything I've seen, where it's like, not turn on this totem or something like that.
Yeah.
But I'm sure there's something cheeky about it. I'm sure it's not standard difficulty ramping.
There we are.
Oh, God. Every Supergiant game looks beautiful.
Oh man, we have to start with the sword. That sucks. I hate that.
Is it random which one you start with, or do you always start with the sword?
I think you always start the first round with the sword. It's interesting. So, you know, the thing that's really tricky for me is that in my save, I have a permanent buff to give me an extra dash. And so it's really awkward to like only have the one dash. I'm like, you know, I'm so used to the two. So as you can see, this is kind of like it's kind of got this like top-down view, a little isometric, kind of like Bastion if you're familiar with.
Yeah, a lot of the flow of combat seems very Bastion-esque.
Nothing.
Just an interesting return to form for them. They definitely played around with a lot of weird ideas there for a while. I don't know if I'm talking over audio whenever these texts.
It doesn't matter. The texts are there. I will move. Oh, I hate that moving it. I have to like completely. I think I have to put the game in like windowed mode. But my attack is stronger and can deflect. I cast, so like Athena is giving me this boon, right? This like a blessing, and this is like kind of like the core gameplay loop is that you over the course of your escape through hell, you continue to meet the other Greek gods like Athena, Zeus, whatever, and they're going to give you bonuses, right? Boons that will make you stronger, and then it's kind of the fun of the game, the roguelike nature of it is right that combination of the different things. I'm gonna take my dash deals damage and can deflect, because a deflecting dash is actually quite useful. And I'm also going to just turn up the volume just a little bit more.
Wait, so are we playing Hades or are we playing the Hercules level of Kingdom Hearts 3?
We are more of a Hercules kind of character. Our name is Zagreus, and we are a Greek god, but we are Hades' child.
Ooh, this gives me very Transistor vibes.
Yeah, it is Transistor-esque, which is another great game by the same creators.
Oh, it's by the same creators.
Yeah.
Gotcha. And actually, it's fun that you bring up Transistor, right? Because the dash with deflection and shields, being able to augment your dash is something that a mechanic that they added to the game in Transistor. It wasn't really something that was present in Bastion, but you could drop those Shatter Mines, which did some pretty crippling damage. Oh my god. Best upgrade.
I'm going to be popping in and out because I'm actually making lunch right now, so I'll be in and out of the conversation, but I wanted to come say hi quick before I go back to the kitchen.
One of the things they do a lot in this game is, all right, so that then you can get the Palms of Power, which we're seeing here. These will upgrade the boons you already have. So in this case, our dash damage goes from 10 to 16, which is pretty good. That's a 60% increase, I suppose. It'd be nice if I had the double dash. Maybe after this run, maybe I'll do a run on my normal account, because this is annoying. Just start a new account. Oh. So one of the things the game does, and you guys can probably already see, is that there's these traps like all around. Ooh, I'm taking a lot of damage. Oh. See, there I actually took damage specifically because I thought I could double dash and kill a guy. But that's my own damn fault. But so like there's a lot of traps in here. So like the traps become deactivated when you complete the room. But like stepping on this, there's the spike trap here, like that one it can be activated, but there's like an explosive trap right if it gets hit. And those things do a lot of damage. You really, like, a big part of this game is like avoiding the traps. At least in my experience. Most enemies can be bad. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I'm just like, during Dead Space I'll be like explaining mechanics, but I'd rather talk about the interesting things if we have something interesting to say rather than just the mechanics.
Well, yeah, I wanted to comment on like losing health in a Supergiant game to some degree, right? I think like I've played a lot of these games, I think at this point. They're one of my favorite indie developers. And one of the things that's always struck me is interesting about the way they design action sequences. You know, obviously with some exception, Pyre is not like any of their other games, and a lot of people don't like it that much. But it seems a lot of the times when you're playing at a higher level, that a lot of their games are focused on managing when you take damage. You have however many times you can re-heal yourself, usually. I don't know if you can do that in this game, but like to some degree, it's just about making sure you're keeping track of your health totals. And I was wondering what your experience was with this game in general with that kind of idea.
I'd say that's appropriate way to describe it. I think I think that's common, like a way to make games more difficult, right? Is to make that to foreground that in your experience, because if it's a game like, I don't know, like Dynasty Warriors, sorry Dynasty Warriors, you're getting thrown shade today. Like, you're right, you just run into like a group of enemies and you just start swinging your sword. You swing that spear, or that axe or whatever, and you're just mowing them down, right? You're just pressing buttons. It's like button masher's heaven, right? But what makes like a fighting game difficult? What makes that gameplay interesting, right? Is having to make meaningful choices, right? I mean, I think we'd all agree. Like that's what makes an esport interesting, right? Is that your decisions really matter, right? Because they do influence whether you win or lose, right? Like if you're playing a game of, I don't know, Counter-Strike, choosing to do, go to B site over and over and over again may cause you to lose, right? So there's consequences to your decisions. And I think to some degree as humans, we want that. And so that what you're describing, right, that mitigation of damage, right, choosing when to take damage or, are learning how to avoid damage is Dark Souls, Supergiant, Roguelike. It's all those games that are in part played because of their difficulty. I think that is, right, it's a core feature of them.
Yeah, that makes sense, actually. A lot.
But that's just the game design kind of maybe aspect. Oh yeah, I haven't even used the specials yet. So your character actually has three like attacks. And so I've just been doing the normal attack, but you have, you have the cast, which is where you like shoot out like this red thing at your foes. Well, right now it's that, but it can be upgraded to be lots of other things. Like there's a cast, it's kind of long range. It does pretty good damage. Like it does more damage than my attacks do. But it like once you throw out the cast, you don't get it back until that enemy's like dead. Well, it depends on the cast and depends on your upgrades. This game's kind of complicated. All right, I'm gonna give you guys the basic rules and then assume every one of those rules gets broken when you actually start playing the game. But then you have like your special, which usually has like a longer windup, but is like, you know, more powerful in some meaningful aspect. So for instance, the sword special is like this kind of, you see me do it a couple times. It's like this big AoE like strike. All right, so now we've got Ares. So one of the cool things is that there's these little vignettes. There's these little like short stories that you're kind of being exposed to while you're playing. So like here we meet Ares for the first time, and I'll read off what Ares says for you. I won't. You just read it when it comes up.
You come on out of there and tell me all about it.
But they all have like kind of their unique personalities. And one way I've actually heard this game kind of be described is as a dating simulator. So your attacks inflict doom. After you take damage, inflict doom on enemies around you, or your attack, special, and cast deal 10% more damage. Let's do my attacks inflict doom on my enemies.
So is that going to include your dash then? Do these things stack?
No, attack is like has a particular meaning. It means your swing of your sword, which is a square on my PS4 controller. That is a good question though. But let's try it out. Yeah, that did not inflict doom on them. So what doom does, in this case, is like when you hit somebody, you kind of like mark them for death, and so after a second, they take like a bunch of doom damage. So in theory, I should be like running around now. Like, you know, this kind of changes the way I might want to play, right? Because now what I want to do is just keep marking enemies for doom, because it takes a second. It's like after 1 second, they take the damage from the doom. So, but you can't re-afflict them with doom if they've already got 1 doom on them. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so it's not about like striking combos on enemies or anything like that. It's more so about like doing quick and fast movements.
Yeah, exactly. And so the game, like a lot of the variations in the gameplay come from that. It's like what buffs do I have? And here we have to make a decision. So this is where I think the game gets more interesting, is when you have to decide. So like here we can, on the left, we can take our Ares, the god of war, or on the right we can take Artemis, the goddess of the hunt. Now Artemis is probably my favorite character. She's the one I'm romancing on my main file, because what you can do is eventually you get these like blessings, and you can like offer them as offerings to the different Greek gods, and like the further you get down the line, eventually you can like, you know, I don't know, like get to the final level of relationship with them or something like that, and they'll give you some sort of special boon. But I haven't reached that quite yet with Artemis, but we'll still go do Artemis. We'll also get a taste of a boss, because you can see there's like this little skull on it, and so it's usually good. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. No, I was just gonna say, so is the dating sim aspect like functionally a dating sim, or is it narratively a dating sim?
Functionally a dating sim. Ooh, took damage there.
Ooh, yikes. It's a lot of AoE.
Yeah, those guys you have to be pretty careful with.
So it's more so you're kind of like becoming closer to these gods, basically?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And they grant you some of their powers as you progress throughout?
Mm-hmm. It's the way the game does it, I think, is like not as successful as it could be, because a core component of the game is, and this is probably the main thing I want to talk about today, so I'll hold off on the main thing, but a core component of the game is that you upgrade in between every death. Like every death, you're getting stronger. And so like going back into the realms of hell, each time you're like beefier. And so you think with the relationships on first blush, or at first blush, that what you just said, every time you kind of increase level of this relationship, it gets stronger. But actually what happens is the first time you give somebody a thing, they give you a something in return, like this kind of keepsake. And the keepsake can be like equipped, like, but you can only have one keepsake at a time. and then nothing. Like it's just cosmetic at that point until the very end, where the last level gives you something else. And so the game kind of encourages you thus to like give one of the blessings to everyone so you can get all their keepsakes. Let's see. My special is stronger with a chance to crit. True shot. My cast seeks foes with a 10% chance to deal critical damage, or any damage I have has a chance to crit. We'll buff our special. Special does more damage and has a chance to crit. Our special is pretty good, and it's an AoE, so in theory that could help us.
What is an AoE? I should probably know.
That's okay. AoE is like MMO term, or just a general kind of gamey term for area of effect. So it's like when something hits like a big area. Gotcha.
I was playing through Dragon Age Inquisition because it was $3 on Steam this summer, and it had AoE on some of the weapons, so I was confused.
Well, I'm glad I could help clear that up.
I probably could have just Googled it, but thank you.
I mean, what are friends for but for being a replacement for Google? I mean, you know, Google didn't. There was once upon a time where Google didn't exist.
Yes, and Google wasn't my friend. Now Google really isn't my friend.
Scholars are still debating whether Google was a good or bad thing. I mean, I think search engines are generally good for humanity, but are so easy to be and prone to misuse. Ooh.
Oh yeah. There's a great book called Algorithms of Oppression that talks about that.
Yep. It's a good book.
Good stuff.
Wow, somehow I didn't take any damage during all of that. I'm impressed. One thing that's nice with the sword, at least, is that it does kind of stun enemies and can push them out of their things. So here we can go left or right. Now this is to the to the untrained eye. This looks like a difficult choice. The Palm of Power is we already saw it once. It upgrades your things. I could become more powerful, or I could go left and go to Charon. And we're gonna go to Charon because this is the shop, baby. And we got some money. And we're gonna need to heal to beat the next boss.
At this point, yikes.
So we have 241. So what we can do is we can either get a buff to our health and then heal, which is the junk food here. It looks like it's a pita and fries. It's Greek themed, right? But I think what I'll do is I will heal for 30, and then I will get the Athena buff. So my cast damages foes in a small area and can deflect. I gain 5% resistance to damage, or I reduce the damage I take from traps by a bunch.
Ooh, that's good.
The thing is, the traps thing feels good. I think some things I consider kind of like traps, and I think that that's funny because it's about resist damage to traps. I think resist damage to trap is a trap because in general it doesn't reduce the damage by 100%, right? Like you can just avoid the traps from now on, right? You still take the damage. So are you actually going to play differently? And if you're not going to play differently, shouldn't you just be not running into the traps? And so that's one that you take, and it's it's not a winning move, we might say, right? To take that, right? It doesn't make you stronger because you're not actually changing anything that you're doing. You're just hoping that when you run into traps, which you shouldn't be doing, that it makes you better. Kind of tricky. So I took the cast as better. So now my cast throws out that, and then I have to go pick it up. And that thing.
Well, and the nice thing about the removing damage from traps is that if you're a new player to the game, then and you haven't refined your movement skill, then that's really good for you. But otherwise, in any other case, I absolutely agree with what you're saying. Late game, it is not a pick. Once you've gotten around to playing the roguelike several times, it's not a pick.
Mm-hmm. The other thing, you could take it if the other two options were bad or somewhat anti-synergistic with what you wanted to do. So, for instance, we've buffed our attacks so that they doom enemies, and we've buffed our special so that it crits, and now we've buffed our cast that it shoots out the deflector thing. But, and this is really important, you can't double up. So I can't if Poseidon offers me a new dash, it will replace the dash that Athena gave me. And so it could be a situation where that's just the best option because you don't want to remove something that you already have.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
So now we have to fight our sister.
Besides, don't you have some place
Very
else to
tricky, Supergiant. Very tricky.
One thing that I really like about this game, and this goes into like the whole core conceit of it, is that you keep fighting like the same bosses. So like, spoiler, Meg is like the boss of the first area, and there's basically 4 or 5 areas depending on how you want to count it. But Meg is the first boss. Or Meg, or do you guys mind if I spoil? Or are you guys really into this game? Is it gonna go buy it and play it all afternoon?
I'm gonna buy it, but like I already know what happens because
Okay.
I'm impatient.
So don't spoil it for me. I haven't beaten the final boss yet. I haven't escaped hell. I got so close so many times, but anyways, that's how these games are, right? You get so close so many times, and then eventually you make it. But Meg and her sisters, they're like the bosses of the first section, and your relationship with them like develops over time, which is like kind of neat, like to give the bosses that kind of personality. And because of the narrative function of the game, right, which is that you're these Greek gods who can't die, right, that it works. It's functional, right? Like it's not like the relationships continue evolving whether you win or lose, which is kind of neat.
Your father sent me. All in all, I'd rather be on your bad side than his.
Weak Coffee says Zagreus strikes me as the guy who would wear a skort in modern times.
The painful way.
I don't know. I really like the Zagreus as a character. Normally I hate main characters in video games unless they're like Link or Gordon Freeman. But Zagreus is like a cool character in my opinion. Like he's like that cool guy I don't know about you guys. So I'll give you a quick story from my life about Zagreus, about who he reminds me of. So like the star player one of the star players on our football team was this guy. Wow, I can't remember his name, which is so terrible. I was invited to his wedding. Oh my gosh. Ross. And Ross was this really cool guy. He was like super successful, great football player, got great grades, really cool guy. Like maybe like a little bit of like a stoner vibe, but he was so nice. Like he was just like a super nice person who's confident, but like incredibly kind. Like for instance, me and him actually share the same birthday, and my parents were out of town. I didn't have very many friends, and he found out, and he was like, "Are you like having a party or anything?" I'm like, "No, I'm just gonna go home and like play video games." He's like, "Why don't you come over to my house? We'll have a dual birthday party." Like, so he just like on the day of his birthday, he invited me over to do birthday with him, right? And we like, we performed Gwen Stefani's Bananas at like this talent show together. Like really cool guy, right? Really great friend. And Zagreus reminds me of him, like somebody who's just really confident and like, but also like really nice, like not a dick.
That's so wholesome. We're in hell and it's wholesome. That's the theme of today.
All right, let's see if we can beat Meg. Nope, not off to a good start. Ooh.
I think you can do it.
I don't know. It's hard without, like, the double dash thing, like, really messes me up. See, like, there, twice that's happened. Ooh, we've taken a lot of damage. Okay. There we go. The game is much harder when you first start out. But now we can get into the narrative conceit of the game, which is you can't die. And everyone remembers all of your failures. And what's interesting is this is kind of I would describe this as putting the cart before the horse, and for most developers. But for Supergiant, because they're so good at this, it's not that. So what do I mean by cart before the horse? So in most games, I think you come up with some sort of narrative, right? And then you kind of fit the game into that narrative to some degree. Right? Like, I don't know, like Call of Duty, it's like, it's a war game. It's about war and guns. Okay, now that we know what it's about, let's go ahead and, like, let's map gameplay onto this. And in maybe, like, Half-Life, which we played last week, we played Black Mesa, right? The remake of Half-Life. It's like, okay, we're going to do, like, the Thing kind of style, like, horror, shooter, like, government conspiracy, like, big tech, weird physicists, like kind of like alien invasion. Like that's like, right, it's all of those kind of ideas and then jammed into the space of game. This game, I can't say for certain, right? I I'm not on Supergiant Games. I haven't met the director of the game or whatever. But this really feels like they were like, we want to make a roguelike, right? A specific kind of game where you keep dying over and over, right? And it's about like getting better at the game. The game is very difficult, but you continually get better, both maybe in-game, like your character gets better in RPG elements, but also you as a player are improving your skills, right? And this game really feels like they decided we want to do that kind of game, that kind of roguelike. Well, how would that work if we wanted to actually have a narrative that makes sense? They're like, well, what if you're a Greek god trying to escape hell and you can't die, but every time you get reset back to the beginning? Okay, and then they just ran with it. So here we get to meet the cast of characters who are both our allies and foes, who are like here's Hypnos, you know, sleep happens. He's the sleeper.
Some of us more than others.
And then we can go over here and meet who trained us. I guess Achilles.
There's so many like great character designs going on here.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, the art is amazing.
This art, yeah. Oh man, I've seen Achilles' design for this game before, and I'm just in love with it.
Take care, Achilles.
And you know, this Weak Coffee knows that's probably because there's something that looks vaguely like a cowl in it, but like straight up, it's just everything in this game looks beautiful. And it's a bold choice for roguelikes, right? I mean, like, when I think back to other roguelikes I've played, they are more often than not kind of dingy. There's some difference in that. I think Enter the Gungeon's one that I think has a lot of bright colors in certain places, or the other one that's very bright is, God, what's it called? The one where you're a sorcerer and you have to switch out your sorcerer cards to get through levels. I'm having a moment with it. Either way, that one is very bright. But this game has a lot of like strong color palette choices that you just don't see in roguelikes very often. I think a lot of designers are worried about distracting the eye. And Supergiant just knows how to make an environment masterfully enough that that's not a question. There's a lot of confidence in this game. It's very obvious.
Are you talking about like the design of the game?
Yes.
Art design?
Yes.
It is one of the most colorful ones I've seen, that's for sure.
Greetings, Father. My ransacking was
like maybe the stream is just us going back and forth about how Supergiant's phenomenal, but like and you know the viewers can hear the music. I can't. Anything Daring Corb composes is automatically at the top of my list.
Y'all, Transistor is the music in it is so good.
All right, we got one of the game's jokes here. I'm gonna highlight it. Wait, so you can listen to the conversations of the dead in Hades. And it's like, do you really think Lord Hades is going to hear me doubt? Cause of death, elephant. Okay, some of them are not. I guess that one wasn't as funny. But my favorite one that I found was, does anyone know a carpenter around here? And it was cause of death, roof collapse. Like they wanted to get revenge, presumably, like on the carpenter who killed them.
Do not despair, child.
So is this where you go to once you die?
Exactly. Yeah. You like end up back at like the pit, like the lowest layer of hell, and then the game is like traversing up the layers of hell.
Gotcha.
I believe it next. I'm grateful that
but yeah. So here you have like a cast of characters who are kind of on your side or kind of against you. So we got like Nyx here. And so Nyx is like, you know, the goddess of the night. We've got Hades. And so Nyx is like kind of on your side. She's kind of like you're kind of matronly in this game. She helps you a lot in getting stronger, especially between the rounds. You've got Cerberus, your pet, who you know you can give him, you know, you give him some love. There's Hades, who is like the primary antagonist. He's your dad, and he's like, you're not leaving here. And you're like, you're not even capable of leaving here. You got Achilles, who's like really pro you. Hypnos is kind of like more neutral. Medusa, who cleans up. She's like the housekeeper. Because this is, I guess, this is the house of the dead. So here's like one of the instances where like you can start upgrading your character, which is you get this purple stuff. Let's go ahead and what the hell is the name of the purple stuff? That's a good question, Eric. Wait, oh, I can't pull it up. Well, the purple stuff, gosh, I don't know what it is, but you can spend it.
Currency.
Yeah, you can spend it to get stronger. So, for instance, oh, if I had 20 more, I could get that second dash, right? So like I got that right away, right? That was probably one of the thing I bought on after my second run or something, right? So I can now imagine me playing the game without having 2 dashes, like right? It's like really rewires the brain a little bit. It actually makes coming back to it more different. Like it's kind of interesting. But so we've got a couple things like deal bonus damage when striking foes from behind, restore a small amount of health when I exit a chamber, 1 health per rank, or Death Defiance, restore 50% of your health instead of dying when your life total is depleted, but you can only do it 1 time per run.
Ooh, yeah, that's some good shit.
I think what I'll do is I'm gonna do the heal 1 every time I exit a chamber, and I'm gonna do the deal bonus damage when you strike foes from behind. I really would probably take the dash
Now we're talking.
primarily, like if I had like the super choice, but I don't have the super choice. I didn't have enough resources for that.
Okay.
So, I want to kind of hit how does Supergiant and designing games thing one more time here quickly, because I think it's interesting. The backstabs seem like a logical progression from Transistor's combat system. The dashing is interesting because when you look at something like Bastion and the way that action economy is handled in that, some of the best kits that you can build in Bastion are things where you can fire quickly and then roll out of it and just kind of tire tactics your way through the game. I think like at the end of Bastion, I ended up running Spear Mortar, specifically because I can poke somebody and keep my distance from them and then switch into Mortar, quickly fire, and then roll out, right? It's interesting to see them take that same design conceit of like movement is key and put it into this game. I guess it makes a lot of sense with the sort of pace of combat they're trying to build. And again, like their masterful ability to make this combat feel good comes out of that practice. But it's interesting to see the beats that they continue to hit, I guess. Also, nice bow.
It was the only one I could get this time, but that's all right.
In the name of Hades.
So can you hot swap between weapons, or do you have to pick one for your run?
You pick one for the run. It's part of the way they keep the runs kind of varied, I guess, for the player.
And he's not so much as called in quite some time. He'll have a better home where you
But I love how each of the gods are really well voice acted, and they all have like their own kind of personality. Okay, so one thing to note is that the boons can have different rarities, and so like your attacks emit a lightning chain when you damage a foe. Your special causes a lightning bolt to strike nearby foes, or is that on that one actually? I don't know. Is that on hit, or is that just when I cast the special? Or your cast is a burst of chain lightning that bounces between foes. We're gonna take the electric shot because it's epic, which means that's like 2 rarities above what you'd normally get. And so let's try it out.
Never thought I'd see the day.
Oh shoot, we don't have the sword anymore. I definitely ran up to him expecting to just sword him. All right.
Well, you didn't take any damage, so no harm, right?
Yeah, no harm.
Shifting, interlocking chambers.
Good thing I'm not dead.
Stronger Cough says, yeah, the painted field of animations is smooth. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Wait, Ren, isn't that you?
Yeah, it is. I'm replying to Weak Coffee.
Oh. For some reason, I didn't see Wheat Coffee.
Nix's power.
I didn't see their comment. So, what does this game do? I'm sure you've already talked about this because I'm just popping in. What does this game do differently with the genre that makes it different from your typical game?
You mean roguelike game? You mean?
Yeah.
So I think the narrative and art direction is something we've already talked about a little bit, but I have to say that is an important feature. Like the art, the art is really, really amazing. But more importantly, like in a lot of these games, I'm thinking of like a Binding of Isaac kind of game, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where I love Binding of Isaac, but there isn't really like this, right? The story is kind of like each run is its own adventure that's isolated from the other ones, right?
Yeah.
This one involves a kind of narrative like a narrative that kind of extends between them. So like with Meg, like the boss of the first one, when you start beating her, like she starts showing up in the House of Hades, like the first, like the section where you go where you die, and she's like disappointed. She's getting chewed out by, you know, Hades, who's like, you know, get your act together, right? Or the closer you get to the end, you know, the more characters are start to be like, maybe you really can do this, you know what I mean? Like, or they, you know, and stuff like that. So like, there's that kind of narrative that's kind of overarching. And so like part of the joy of the game, as opposed to those other games, is seeing what's changed every time you do a run. Like, oh, my, like I said at the beginning, there's like a dating sim aspect. It's like, how does my relationship with this god now? Like, how has it changed? Like, right, what are they going to say next time? Because they're going to say something different. And they're, you know, and after like, I remember like after about 20 runs, I wish I really wanted to beat the game in like before 20 runs, but I didn't. But at around my 20 runs, Dynasties actually came up to me. He's like the god of wine. He's like, dude, you've like, what is this, like attempt number 20 or something? Like, get your act together. You know what I mean? Like, and so it's fun to see those relationships build up. So that's like one of the more novel things that it does relative to other roguelikes. Not to say that similar kinds of features aren't in other roguelikes, but this one really takes that kind of concept of the runs are a chronological story of your progress and runs with it in a way that none other has that I've played.
I was gonna say I was a lot of the times I don't really like roguelikes just because the lack of continuity, like for some reason it's just like it's not something I really like. So this might be a version of the genre that I would like more, because it feels like how you, like, I guess with the Binding of Isaac kind of thing, it's like easier to play in like a one sitting. You can play one run through, and that is like, that would work for you. But it seems like with this one, there's, I don't know, it seems like there's more of a goal to it in a way, or at least the way I think of a goal, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, there's a very explicit narrative goal, right, which is escape from hell.
Yeah.
Most roguelikes, I think, have that, but you're right. Here, like, the narrative is, like, more primal, or more not primal, like, prime, or important in
primary,
yeah, primary. Whereas, like, in a Binding of Isaac, yeah, you have the end goal of, like, kill mom, or whatever, right? This kind of weird edible thing. But, like, it's not necessarily, like, in the day-to-day, or, like, when you're actually playing the game, right? It's not something that's on your mind.
Yeah, totally.
Special inflicts doom.
That's pretty good with the bow, because as you've noticed, I shoot out like a ton of, right, like I go like you know, like I shoot out a bunch. It's like, you know, like I kind of machine gun it. Well, here we get to meet finally. So this is actually, there's some NPCs who are just that aren't fights in the labyrinth, and this is one of them. It's Sisyphus, everyone's favorite tortured soul.
The main one, what's her name? She's on your case now, isn't she?
You mean Megara? She's on my case, all right. Under strict orders not to let me out of Tartarus. I guess that means you've got yourself a break. About damn time they gave one to you, sir.
So here he'll either give us darkness, which I can be used to be permanently grow stronger, money, or he'll give me some healing. I'm gonna go ahead and take the money.
Good idea.
To give me 107. And the reason why I took the money is because this isn't my main account, so like gaining the purple stuff doesn't really help me. Because right, this is only for today. Alright, so here we got one of the mini bosses. This is where like that doom, it comes in kind of handy. Because, like, I can keep, like, just marking the boss with the Doom.
Substantially more damage with the Doom than you are with the individual shots. Although this is some bullet hell stuff. Oh my god. This boss would irritate me.
Wondering if you can only Doom. Oh no, the Doom is going on him. Alright. He was so big I couldn't see where it is. Alright, another
You get
Ares.
100 damage out of every one of those Dooms.
So my dash creates a blade rip. That one's really good, especially when you have double dash or later on. You can't get triple dash, I think, from the start, but Hermes, the god of speed, of course, he gives you another dash if you can find him. So these are all rare. After I take I don't like the take damage ones because it's that same philosophy I was telling you about earlier, right? Where it's like do I want to be taking damage? No. Like, why am I preparing to?
Yeah, it feels like unless you explicitly like design your run-throughs to be about like taking as much health as possible and doing that, it doesn't seem to make much sense.
This one looks good though. Your dash creates a blade rift where you started. So what that'll do is the blade rift does damage. So it's like it leaves that behind for like a little bit, and that'll deal damage. Which is nice because a lot of times you're dashing away from enemies or they're chasing you, and so that'll be useful.
Yeah, I guess today is the day where I make a bunch of comparisons to older Supergiant games, but it's interesting to see them stick with the 4-slot kind of mechanic that you had in Transistor specifically, right? Because they're incentivizing you to pick up your first 4 power-ups in different slots so that you get the most out of your inventory, and then from there building that synergy, which was, you have more control over it in Transistor, but here, like, it just makes a lot of sense. Forces you to diversify your playstyle too in interesting ways.
So here, some of the rooms are like this, where like Hades like kind of almost challenges us. He's like, "All right, let's just see if you can survive." So this one, enemies will just keep spawning for 45 seconds. I find these ones to be kind of lazily designed because what ends up happening, as you might bet, is like you can kind of just run around the room, like I just did there. It's not as interesting as it could be. All right, more coin.
No way to patch up. Got to keep going.
Is there, in terms of like each of the levels of hell, is there like a consistent like theme or design for each level?
Yep. So Tartarus is kind of your classic kind of Dante's Inferno kind of thing. Tartarus is where we are now, by the way.
Yep.
And then you've got, I guess Tartarus is kind of like more like, I guess, your classic kind of dungeon crawly, actually, now that I think about it. But the next one, I can't remember the name of, but that one is your like classic like hell. Like, and it's like red pools of lava and stuff like that. Whereas this one is more like, it's kind of like dungeony. It's kind of like, Tartarus is kind of like almost city-like. And then Elysium, the third one, is kind of like a green flowing grass, kind of like more heavenly, right, in its approach. And then what is the heck is the name of that one? I'm trying to remember the name of. Oh, sorry, skulls. Oh, that lightning cast does so much damn damage when it works.
Do you get to keep those power-ups through each run?
No,
Okay.
you lose them upon death. The only thing you get to keep are like, I guess, like the weapons, and then the resources, like the purple resource, you get to keep and stuff too. Here we could power up one of the things we already have, or we could get more money. I want more money. Money lets you buy things from Charon.
Are you always guaranteed to run to Charon once per floor?
I assume so. I don't know how guaranteed it is, but
it's a pretty often a feature of kind of roguelikes that come out of the Binding of Isaac tradition, right? Is you'll have a shop that you'll run into on every floor. I'm not sure if that was originally a feature of Rogue, but I mean it's worth. The oldest I've seen is the original Binding of Isaac with the shopkeepers.
Yeah, the shops are good, but it's a good design decision because like it forces you to consider like another resource, right, as you're kind of continuing forward. Like, how do I balance this particular resource, right? It like will help me win if I use it well.
Yeah, have we played? Like, have any of us gone back and actually played Rogue? Is that the place we've been to?
I think roguelike is kind of like a misleading term because I feel like roguelike now just means game where with like kind of that non-linear structure of you're going to die a lot. Like, it doesn't really mean like Rogue anymore. It's just that Rogue was like a game that did that initially. But I mean, all arcade games are roguelikes, right? Like,
right.
It's actually kind of funny that we call it roguelikes, not just like, I don't know, Donkey Kong likes, Pac-Man likes. Like, all right, let's go.
Well,
Go ahead.
It's a genre that if it's getting to that point, then like it's due for a rename, right? I mean, you saw that with Doom Clone. For a long time, FPSs were just referred to as Doom clones, and then eventually they outgrew that designation. So, you know, I know that the current kind of like new version of that naming contrivance is the Souls-like, right? And some people get inordinately mad about that idea that there could be such a thing as a Souls-like, which is just funny to me. But I don't know. It's interesting because these kinds of like defining by comparison things in the games industry do seem to be something that we grow out of.
Mm-hmm. Back to Megara.
Ever stubborn, aren't you? Maybe my whip.
And then, you know, if you're Hideo Kojima, you just invent a new genre that nobody's quite sure what the hell you mean by. Not really sure what a strand type game is. Not sure I'll ever understand what a strand type game is. Oh man, she's got some range.
Yeah, you gotta be careful. Oh shoot. I'm used to having double dash. It's so much easier to get out of that shit. You have double fucking dash.
I mean, you're in a position where it should be pretty easy to take her down as long as you can keep your distance.
Well, she dashes forward, and she gets stronger the further in the fight you get. Damn. I can hit by. I can get. I can get
What's
hit
her
by.
animation doing there?
I ran into a trap. Frick. I die to the next big AoE.
You're doing much better than the last time, though. You're halfway through now.
Yeah. Oh god. Oh my god.
Ooh.
This looks tough.
It's hard to shoot her with the bow because the bow attacks so slow when those things are like popping up, because like those big circles obviously hurt me when rats.
Cheers for that, Meg.
I guess I'll do one more run. We have enough to get the double dash, which will probably signal. I'm gonna kind of skip through the talking to folks, unfortunately. But suffice to say, you can talk to folks. But if we're gonna do another run, we're gonna have to be quick about it. Oh, I don't have enough for double. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and.
You could show us your other save file.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and we'll play at least a little bit on the other save file.
Yeah. See what the late game's like, or at least the mid game.
Yeah, wherever I am. So here I'm like pretty leveled up. I've got like all the weapons. I've got the double dash. I got tons of keepsakes here.
Your dash looks like it goes for longer as well, or are you just chaining dashes?
I'm just chaining dashes. It looks like it's a lot longer because it's two, but it's really hard to get used to not only having one. Like I almost always double dash when I dash. Let's see.
So
what items should I use? I'll let you guys pick. You guys can see them all on the screen.
What's
you
that
have opinions in chat.
chakram-like thing?
Chakram-like thing. Or
The big shield.
Yeah. Oh, that's a shield.
Yeah, sorry. If you have one selected, it becomes a different thing. Well, we'll deselect the sword, so I'm not gonna play with the sword. I hate that. The sword sucks. I can't believe it's the default. It's like the worst one.
What does the glove do?
The glove is like fisticuffs.
So are any of these weapons, would you say, patently better or worse than any other ones?
It really depends on your play style. So like if you want to get up close and beat stuff up, then like you're gonna like the glove or the gloves a lot, because they're like the short range, like really rapid strikes. The bow has like the long range thing going on. The gun kind of has long range, but it has ammo, so like that might turn you off to it. I would say I don't find anyone patently better. I think the shield is probably the hardest. Because the shield has like, you can't combo it. It has this cool thing where you can like dash across, which you're kind of seeing me do right now. But this has like limited uses. In part because I'm playing on a PS4 controller. I like the diagonal controls, but you can see that like they can kind of get in the way of like this, because like if I wanted to aim this more specifically, like it kind of just locks onto enemies, and sometimes it's hard to lock on the enemy you want it to lock onto. And then you can throw the shield with your special. So everyone has the same cast, which is right, throwing that red thing, which eventually will upgrade. Why don't we do a run with the shield? I think with the shield, when you're holding up the shield, also you don't take damage. But I actually don't know if that's true. I've never really tried, because it's like something you experiment with and then you are really disappointed. All right, we got it. Oh wait, I didn't pick a keepsake. Which one do I have? I receive 100 gold at the start. Okay, well we got 100.
You and money.
So, I'm guessing Binding of Isaac was not the first roguelike. Is there like a history of the roguelike? I'm not sure.
So you're asking?
Anybody knows?
All right, so repeat the question one more time, just for Air Bear.
I was just thinking like, because Binding of Isaac blew up, right? Which kind of inspired a lot of other games like that. But is there like a big one before Binding of Isaac?
Someplace else.
I mean, every arcade game ever.
There's a really long history of the roguelike.
Yeah, it really depends on how you define the roguelike.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So here we've got Chaos.
Like, I don't know enough about the history of it to give you a robust recap of every important roguelike that has altered the genre, but I can tell you, because I've just Googled it to find out, that the original game Rogue, full title Rogue, something like Dungeons of Doom or something like that, was made in 1980. So this designation has been around for a long time and permutated a lot.
Gotcha. So there's like, if you want to call them subgenres or different forms of it that have been around for a long time.
I'm not even sure it's splintered into subgenres per se. I mean, it's hard to track the lineage. It's more like this is a subgenre that has redefined itself several times. But we still call it by the term roguelike, whether or not that's the best term for it. It seems that in at least the gaming space, rarely do. It's not like me or you or Eric could probably do terribly much to change the term, right? I mean, it seems, at least this has been my experience in the ARG community. The community develops the terms and then academics take them from there. The accuracy of the terms entirely depends on the lineage of whatever the community has decided. As much as I try to fight the battle that puppet master is a better term than game master in the ARG community, it's a bit of a losing fight. The new people who aren't aware of unfiction just aren't gonna know the term,
Yeah.
So it's interesting that this name is stuck around. I think, like, by myself included, a lot of us, I mean, I didn't know what rogue looked like until I looked it up.
Yeah. So that the etymology is literally like, it is like the game Rogue. I mean, that's what it kind of sounds like, based off off the brief history.
Yeah, absolutely, right. And this is what I was meant when I was saying, oh, there's a connection to something like the Doom clone, right? The idea of being a Doom clone is just, oh yeah, it looks like Doom. The quintessential Doom clone is probably. Oh man, my brain's having a moment. Duke Nukem. Duke Nukem is the quintessential Doom clone. But I mean, the Doom clone idea eventually became the first-person shooter genre. And on top of that, now we're seeing a resurgence in these kinds of older Doom-like games, and they're being called boomer shooters, which is obviously caked in the colloquialisms of 2020. But it's interesting, these things, our immediate comparisons tend to evolve into more detailed names of genres, or less detailed, I suppose. But it seems like roguelike has stuck around a lot longer than even I thought it had.
Oh yeah, me too. Because usually, like the boomer shooter thing, usually, at least in terms of the community, comes up with a lot of different terms for different genres of games, and they kind of develop throughout. So yeah, it is interesting that it's been around for that long.
So what's the frost effect doing? Is it slowing them down, or are they taking tick damage?
It slows them down.
That's a really good combo with the shield. Throw the shield out and then use the extra time to charge up for your dash attack. I see the trade-off though, right? Because you can't really do anything other than cast and dash without the shield, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see.
A messy little...
I don't know if I want. I think it'll be okay. So here we can pick between. It's actually both boss fights, which is going to be really weird. But when it has two there, you get both of them eventually. But basically, what happens is you have to pick one, and then the other is going to be mad at you, and then attack. Basically, like summon stuff to attack you, and then you beat them, and then they're like, okay, just kidding, I love you.
Oh my god.
Oh, I love this one.
Just kidding, you're great.
Your cast drops a crystal that fires a beam, and it's like, this is like kind of a drop it and you can forget about it, which is nice.
Good shot there, Zacharias. I guess you got me. Now why don't you go take a shot at this?
He's mad.
No hard feelings, Lady Artemis.
It's like, I didn't mean it, Artemis. I'm sorry.
Very funny.
Hey.
I like that there's infighting. It's very true to the myths.
To the yeah.
True to the source material.
Well, and the other thing that's interesting about doing a roguelike that's focused on mythology in any regard is that there's, and this isn't a feeling that is particularly evoked by some other games that focus on mythology, right? Like you don't see this idea come up when you play Smite, but like there's a timelessness to myths. You know, regardless of the culture or the focus, there is a sense in which they exist atemporally. It's something that I realized a lot when I was translating Ovid's Metamorphoses and some Latin text in that space. And that same kind of lack of temporality seems to be evoked by the gameplay loop here, in a sense. I mean, obviously you're progressing forward. To the sense that it's a complicated thing, right? Because myths end. It's just that there's an echo that continues past the story. It's not that any of Ovid's retellings are somehow without conclusion. So maybe temporality is not quite the right word for it. But there's a resonance there, I think.
You're late.
Maybe I'm just not... It's one of those things where, like, maybe I needed to be more into Roman texts to be able to describe it properly.
Well, in my lit theory class, we're reading about. Last week we read about myths, and I'm still like, I don't know.
I don't think so.
Purposefully. So I have this thing. So remember how we said that there was that death-defying thing from before, where once per run you can get back health if you die. So I actually have that. But I have a different version of it that you can unlock where you get 30%, but only once per room. So it's like you get less health, but you get it, but it's once per room. And so if I'm under 30% health, it's like, well, I might as well have the enemy kill me so I can get back the health. All right, so we gotta survive for 45 seconds. When we do have the frost thing. Ooh, we ran into that.
5 damage isn't so bad, though. You've got that beam. You've got a lot of places to, like, mitigate how fast people can get to you. So. And the shield's got some range. I mean, again, like, there's the trade-off, right? You don't have the shield all the time, but you do have a weapon that has a ranged attack, as opposed to the sword, which doesn't seem to have any ranged attack capabilities. Unless there's an upgrade for sword beams, in which case, heck yeah.
Yeah, there probably is, you know. There's always the cast. The cast is long range for everybody, right? The cast, because the cast doesn't change depending on the item. All right, we made it.
To the lowest depths with them.
All right. We have 300. All right, so it's a boss fight either way, but it's either going to be Zeus or Ares. My wife says that Ares is the best. So we'll do Ares. Oh, one of these guys. So the game actually does get harder. Like the more you play. Because what happens is like the enemies will, like they start introducing more enemies who are like harder.
By the way, I forgot to mention this earlier, but it may be nice to hear. Most people do not escape hell until they're like 35th attempt.
That's what I know that. That's why I wanted to do it in like half. But I also probably, if I really wanted to beat the game that fast, okay, dash creates a blade rift. After take damage, do doom. We'll do the dash creates a blade rift. But I also, if I really wanted to, like, let's say, all right. So in this room, I do want to take lethal damage. Oh, Thanatos. Shoot.
That's fun.
The Thanatos is your brother, the god of the Grim Reaper, and when you get him, he like challenges you to like a duel of sorts. And so it's like whoever can kill, he's like helping you clear the room, but it's whoever can kill the most guys. But I'm crushing it. Holy crap, I've killed everyone. So, well, now not anymore, but at the point of when I said I had killed everyone, I had killed everyone. That's 2 to 11. I don't think I can lose at this point. My special where I throw the shield is really good. I need to be using that more. Oh, wait, hey, knock me out, knock me out. Oh, buddy. Oh, wait, one more, yeah, knock me out, knock me out. Thank you. All right. I go from like 20 to 38. It's like, it's just funny that I could do that little healing. But it does require that I'm already low on health, right? It wouldn't be useful to do that if I wasn't. All right. 18 to 9.
Pretty good.
He gave me a health thing to increase my overall health. And there's these other things like this troll trial. So if I do the trial, I gain up to 100 purple. But the thing is, I also heal health based on a percentage of purple that I collect. So this actually will give me health back too if I can. Even taking damage here isn't necessarily bad.
So they offer like a wide variety of different challenges and rooms and kind of setups.
Yeah.
Throughout.
That was really fast.
That's quite enough.
Awesome. We got 91 out of that, which will heal us for good 50. So that's good.
Yeah, that shield throw does some work. That's for sure.
It is 1 o'clock. I could just keep doing this run. I feel fine with that. I was just gonna, probably write or something right now. Anyways, something not important. So, but if you guys don't want to stick around, I might end it. But it doesn't matter.
I was gonna say, I'm going to go work on my English 101 PowerPoint. So
sounds good.
I'm cool to stick around to the end of the run, though.
All right, that might be a while, depending on how far. I kind of hope I don't win though, because my wife has watched me do every run, so I kind of don't want to let her down. But I also want to finish the damn run.
All right, see y'all later.
Bye.
Yeah.
Power up. And also, let's see, my special will do more damage, which is good. That's what I'm mostly doing. So we'll power that up. So here we have another chaos. I'm gonna take a little bit of damage. Chaos gives you like these challenges, where Chaos gives you these challenges where like you have like I have lower move speed, but then afterwards I deal more damage to foes from behind. Or foes toss a bomb, but then afterwards my attacks do more damage. Or I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do I have lower move speed. I've always found these ones to not be so bad because I mostly dash around anyways.
Right, that makes sense. This is, yeah, I also see where they would get to this. This just seems like they took everything that is good about a Supergiant game and just put it all together into something that is very good. It's honestly impressive that they can balance this many mechanics at once.
Yeah, I agree. So we had we bought a Hermes thing there, and then now we have a Dionysus. Oh, okay. So the Dionysus here will restore your health to a threshold if it's low, or gain health when you pick up boon things. Gain 1 now. I'll do that one. That thing that I just picked up that I got from that was the tricky thing is we will have that lower movement speed for the fight here and it is Megara. That's good. Maybe we'll finally beat Megara in this run.
But you do have that 20% movement speed you just got, so it's
I'm sure you'll have a chance.
But I think what it does is it does my movement speed reduction is based off of like it doesn't add on top of that. Or well, whatever. You know what I mean.
Yeah.
It calculates that bonus movement speed first, which means that it's actually worse.
Oh no, you're right. Oh, I didn't think about man. Well,
It's okay.
oh well.
Like I said,
you got this.
I mean, I'm just.
You're just chunking her. God.
Oh yeah, I should be using my cast.
You get that extra tick damage in there, and also it'll take care of the little mobs. Leave it to Supergiant to let you play as Captain America in hell.
He doesn't like me.
She is not having a good time though. Oh my god.
I don't think I've taken a hit yet.
I don't think you have.
This is why, like, the game is like, it gets a lot easier. Like, it's not like I'm somehow a better player than I was like a little bit ago. You know what I mean? It's that, like, you know. But that's kind of the cool thing about the game, right? With a lot of roguelikes, like, it's just about if you're getting better, right? In this game, it's like, the game definitely gets easier the more runs you do. Like, winning on that first run, which we might call Royal Road. Ooh, there we go. We took some damage there. I gotta remember to be doing the cast. That's just like free damage I'm kind of leaving on the table. There we go.
Nice.
Be seeing you around.
Alright, so then the nice thing is, like I said, I gain health based on a percentage of purple I collect, so she gave me purple there, which is nice. So we have 170 total health, but we're sitting at like 80 because in part because the chaos things that we've been taking not only is it a challenge like reduce movement speed, but it is also it chunks your health to go attempt to it. All right, so here we can change our keepsake. So last time we got the Chthonic coin purse, which gave us 100 gold to spend as we please once per run. Now we can pick a new one, and I think I'm going to pick the Distant Memory. Deal 30% more damage to distant foes. Because we are just really throwing that shield a lot. Right? We're playing that Captain America. So here there's these like purple fountains, which I could, if I wanted to, get a little health, but I don't think I need it. It would only be 15. I'd be leaving money on the table. And then the red ones, you can sell your boons for money. But most of the time, I have never really found that to be that useful. Because typically the boons are just going to be better than money, in general.
Yeah, it seems to make sense.
Be there soon, Hydra.
You always want to have. I mean, I just can't imagine going and being like, oh yeah, I really want to like not have one of my abilities.
Mm-hmm.
But who knows? Maybe there's a particular, like if you just pick something up that's absolutely garbage and you're not using it at all.
Yeah, and there can be, like I said, like an anti-synergy. Like maybe you pick something up and you didn't realize, or it just.
Oh, this is damn the lighting.
So close.
Yeah, I gotta get my hands on this at some point.
Alright, Hermes, what do you got for me?
Triple dash, that's what I'm hoping for.
One large onion, minced, a dash of salt to taste. Oh wait, this isn't for you. Though you should try it sometime if you ever make it.
That's an excellent. That's a great thing.
Alright, so we've got, whenever you're hit, you have a chance to dodge automatically. You can dash more times in a row, or after you dash, become sturdy and move 100% faster. I'll take the chance to dodge. Or the dash. I'll take the dash.
Moving right along.
Alright, so here we can pick health, or... oh wait, we have 3 options. Money, health, or Palm of Power. We're gonna go with health. I always find health to be really good, especially because there's a lot of things in the game that are like based on percentage health. So increasing max health like matters not just for like what you might think, but it also matters in ways you might not think, you know.
Yeah, you want to make sure that you're.
Oh my gosh! I was
God.
massacring him. Too bad I accidentally took damage from the bomb he threw at the very end.
I don't know, 12 damage just to instant kill one of the bosses, I think is pretty good. Cost benefit wise, I'm here for that.
If you step in the fire, you oh shoot, I took another. Alright. Unacceptable. The thing with the shield special is that it doesn't, like, you can't do other attacks while the shield is out. Like, cause you're, you know, which obviously, right? Like, your shield is thrown out. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it took too much damage here, unfortunately. It's not the end of the world, but
a hard arena.
Yeah, and our movement speed is slow, which kind of hurts against these bombs. All right.
She'll keep me going.
And so I think
unless they throw one out on death, I see. They Junkrat ya.
Yeah, that was the one I took at the end. There was the Junkrat one. All right. After this palm, we should finally have completed Chaos's challenge, so our movement speed won't be lowered, which will be nice. Hopefully here. Sometimes these ones can be tough because, like, the room is so big and these guys are like shooting out like things from afar away, and it's like I want more time to react to their stuff, you know, than like.
Yeah, it's rough. And the game only gets harder, I imagine, as you ascend through more layers of hell.
For the most part, this follows the familiar pattern of roguelikes. Oh, shoot.
Ooh, hey. Hello, snake.
Chaos,
okay, we did it.
Wow, those backstabs are just phenomenal too.
Attack damage up by 8, Blade Rift dashes up by 6, transfer crit up by 1%. We'll do the Blade Rifts do more damage per hit, because I think that's probably bigger. That'll probably be a bigger thing. Restore 10% of my health when I enter a chamber for the next couple chambers. Oh, well, instantly gain 25 will also heal me like 10, so that's nice. And then, all right, we'll heal 30% of our total health over the next couple of rooms. So here we've got a Dionysus, a Charon, or an Artemis. So unfortunately, we have no money, so Charon doesn't make sense. So it's either Dionysus or Artemis. I would not mind Hangover Effects, which is one of the, which is what Dionysus got of wine. It's like damage over time. Artemis is nice. I'll do Dionysus.
Yeah, I guess it's are you looking to crit or are you looking to...
Oh, I do have a thing that like for each unique god I have like booned from, I gain a bonus in attack. So I guess that makes Dionysus better too, because I don't have a Dionysus yet, but I do have, I think, 2 Artemises, so.
Yeah, that's cool. That's really cool. Some good abilities.
So
good on them for making so many abilities that are all like usable. That's
the
hard.
game feels pretty balanced to me, but I mean I haven't like really watched people play online, but like some of the gods are better for different play styles, but none of the gods are really bad. Like I would say like Aphrodite specifically and Dionysus seem worse to me than some of the other ones, and even Artemis is like a little worse. Like the ones you think would be good are like Ares, Artemis, or Ares, Zeus, and Poseidon, like those, those main gods. Theirs are like more like, oh yeah, like these are just oh my gosh. Hold on.
Ooh.
The nice thing also about having like 3 dashes is that when you're dashing, you're like invincible.
Oh, no.
So like, sometimes you're like, I'm about to get hit, just dash, dash, dash. Like, just throw all 3 of the dashes out.
Man.
I felt a shiver in the air just now, and that can only mean that chilly Demeter decided to give you a little help there, huh? Or maybe it's just cold. I mean, this is a mountaintop.
So here, We've got a couple. All right, so he'll give us an after party. After party is pretty good here. It says epic. So basically, I start every encounter with 45% health, which is pretty nice if I get low. But again, that's kind of planning to fail. Fountains restore all your health and give you bonus damage. Also kind of good. The bonus damage is pretty nice. Or I just do Dionysus' Aid. Call inflicts hangover and all flows around you. And hangover does a ton. And getting a call can be pretty useful. It's not my favorite call. We'll take it though. I don't think I have taken that call before. All right, and here we'll meet Eurydice, which I don't think you've met, but Eurydice is Orpheus is the music master, like the court musician, and Eurydice is like his muse, but they're in separate parts of hell. So you're kind of like playing out this like star-crossed lovers tale, but also Eurydice hates Orpheus because Orpheus failed to rescue her from hell.
Yeah, sure, hon. What is it?
Fantastic. That's some good shit.
Closely guarded family secret. I'd say I'd take them to my grave.
Oh, that's such a cool design.
It's not your recipes, though they are wonderful. It's your song. I'm sure it'd be a hit around the house. And I know someone who really needs to hear it. Don't suppose you've got a parchment copy I could have?
Your Royal Majesty, you want my song? You are aware it's called Good Riddance, right?
Good riddance. Wait a minute.
But sure, why not?
Wait, no, that's not the Green Day song. What's the I hope you had the time of your life song? What's the name of that song?
I should know that song. I'm gonna look this up.
So I can take Ambrosial Delight, which 2 random boons of mine are upgraded to the next rarity. Palm
Porridge.
It is
called Good Riddance.
Oh, it is. Yeah, that's
funny. She's just Green Day.
The Palm Porridge is up to 4 boons, gain a level, or Refreshing Nectar, a rare fragrant beverage. The next 3 boons have an upgrade rarity. Let's go ahead and do the Ambrosial Delight. Upgrade 2 of the ones I have to a new level. So greater reflex and greater haste. Ooh, all right. So my I now move 30% faster rather than 20, and now I have. Oh my god, I have 4
my
4
god.
dashes. Which, remember, every time I dash, I leave behind that twirling vortex of death. So, like, you know, just 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Whoop, look at all that. Look at all that death behind me.
Oh my god.
Maybe I'll just kill him with this.
And now you're super fast too. Holy crap! Is this the one? Is it speed?
Oh, no, you want to think it's the one, but it never is. That's how roguelikes work, right? One thing that I think is, I don't know, I don't want to like overly call it like a flaw of the game, but one thing that's different from other roguelikes that you may be familiar with is like the game is better balanced, but that also means there's like isn't like the chance for that wonderful overpowered combo that you might be thinking of, right? Where it's just like, oh, I can't even lose now, right?
Yeah, when you get I'm thinking in Binding of Isaac, when you pick up like 4 of the little baby things that fly around you at the same time, and you're like, well, I guess I'm just doing a massive amount of damage constantly now.
This Trove Trial gives me 125 coins, which will actually make going to Charon useful after this, so hopefully we can... It's going to be slay foes quickly. Okay.
I mean, just dash. That's it.
No, that's not... That is like a good way to do it, but it's not particularly fast. The thing is that it's like the way that it works is it's like the amount of coins you get is like slowly dropping over time. So you really want to do it fast to get the reward. All right, so here we have 210. Is 210 worth going to Charon, or should I go to the Palm? We'll go to Charon. 210 should be enough to get a boon from a god and a heal, and we could use a heal. Yeah, well. So we got an Artie.
You're quite done with shopping, Zagreus. What say we cut straight to the chase from here?
So after I cast or hit with a special, fire a seeking arrow, which does 10 damage. It's not very much, but with some, like, especially if you're like running with the gloves, right? That's amazing, because like every time you hit with like one of the gloves, right, you're spawning another arrow. My crit effects do more damage to armor, or my god gauge charges up faster when you crit. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and do that support fire, and then I'll go ahead and I'll get a little bit of healing here. And now we're gonna fight the boss, which is the Hydra.
Let's see how they rendered this one.
It's pretty cool. This one's got more of like that 3-dimensional kind of art look.
Oh man. So this is their Hydra. I love this already. Wow. I'm sure it's just a lot to deal with too.
Oh.
I'm resisting every impulse to yell, get up on the Hydra's back. So I see you just dashing through projectiles.
Yeah,
damage.
Because you're invincible while dashing. So if you time it right, you're right. It's.
We're gonna do another boss fight where you just don't take damage.
The Hydra is actually I find easier than Meg. Because the Hydra, not to like, I don't know, be mean to an inanimate creature, but the Hydra is like more predictable and less fast, and he's more static. So like, you know, you can kind of predict what he's gonna do more than the other ones. The hard part of the Hydra is when he does this, which is summons the other heads.
Right. Then you suddenly have a lot more to deal with, and he's still just gonna keep doing his thing too. Oh wow, that's a lot of boys this time. Yeah, it seemed like last time you could really sit down and focus on one head at a time, but with this many, it's hard to. You have to kind of switch targets.
Because he's also throwing out the things. But this time, I probably could have stayed around. If you didn't notice, like some of those were like one hit away. Probably would have been nice. Okay, so hopefully we're gonna get there. Yeah, we're gonna get there. Okay. So I want to show you this. It's like the super call. So if you level up your call far enough, it'll do that. And this. I almost just want to watch Dionysus go to work. Oh wait, but I have to be close. But if you can't tell, this health bar just was destroyed. The greater calls, which is when you get the call meter full up, which I don't even think I've done a call up until this point, but they're pretty useful. It's like you basically call down the aid of the god, and like it's usually like the super powered thing that you can.
Fantastic.
So here, do I want? So the question is with the keepsake. Does the 30% to distant foes still good? I think overall that's it. Here, I'm not gonna take some of these. I just never take. Maybe it's bad, but like you deal 50% damage to foes from behind for the next 6 encounters. I'm like, I don't want to spend money that could be spent on something permanent on a temporary thing, especially in mid run. But now we're in Elysium. This is where most of my runs end, is fighting the bosses of Elysium, which is the Minotaur and Theseus.
Another day.
It's like that. Have you played Dark Souls?
Yes.
It's very much the Ornstein and Smo.
Oh, God.
Oh, now you have to fight two enemies.
Yeah, I think later this month I'm gonna be doing Code Vein, and I might go to the Ornstein and Smo fight of that game, which is one guy with I can't remember their names. One person with a frost rapier and one person with a fucking flaming cannon. So one of them's keeping you at distance at the entire time. The other one's chasing you down and doing massive damage. And it might be harder than anything else in that game. It's just a lot. If you're trying to solo it, if you have somebody with you, then you can kind of move their targeting around. But oh man, those kinds of bosses are notoriously terrible. I mean, not terrible in a bad way, terrible in a hard way.
This is one of the interesting things. We haven't seen it too much, but you can get duo bonuses, where you get like a bonus that's a combination of two gods that have already blessed you or booned you. But the problem is that we got a bad one here. Your hangover effects deal damage faster, which is good because it goes from 0.5 to 0.35. So that it lasts the same amount, but it does basically damage 3 times a second rather than 2. So you're effectively like doing a lot more damage, right? The problem is the only thing that does hangover damage that we have is our call, which we generally I'm not using. I'm only using it when it's fully charged, right? And so it's really not a long, but our Blade Roach effects last longer and pull foes in. Now that's our dash. So, so that thing now is going to be pulling people in, which that's nice. All right, so here we can take money or we can take health. I'm going to go ahead and take health. because I'm a sucker for health. Ooh, he
I
actually
got me
hit
with
me.
the colors again. These are just so, they look so good. Blade rifts last longer. Oh man. Kind of watching that gravity effect to see how much it, oh yeah, it's like not an insubstantial like gravity pull either. Like, they dash into it and then they are just taking damage all day.
Yeah, I'm actually trying to like see what it's like to just use the dash. These guys are annoying. If you haven't noticed, they drop these bags and they will respawn. Sorry, language. If you don't kill the bag fast enough, and that can be pretty annoying. All right, here. Oh yes. Hammer is probably the best buff in the game. It's like when you get the hammer, because the hammer will buff your actual weapon, which and oftentimes it actually, it's like that thing where like it actually augments it, so it can actually be more useful. Relative.
Is it a permanent augmentation or is it just for the run?
It's for the run, yeah. But it's like it's still like they're really good. It's like actually finding like a Binding of Isaac treasure item, whereas where a lot of the boons feel like lesser items almost.
Oh man.
Yeah, just doing the dash thing it's at least it's pretty fun.
It's like shredding their health too. Like that is not some insignificant damage. Oh my god.
So here we got, so my dash strike deals 50% damage and it attacks in a larger area, which is pretty nice. Bold special to charge throw. I don't like that because I don't want to be standing still. Or my special can strike up to 4 additional blows before returning. So you see how all of these could be really good. I hate the bottom two. I don't want to charge my special for 200% base damage because that's just not a good idea. And I really don't want to do the special. It takes longer to return to me. Because like that's why these ones are kind of more interesting questions to me. Because like most of the God's boons are just universally good. But 2 of these are like, do I even want that? Like, so I'll take the dash strike does more damage in a larger area. Especially because, so the thing about the dash strike is that you always dash strike if you hit attack while dashing or within like a third of a second after dashing. And so we're probably dash striking a lot. So dealing that in a different, yeah. So like you see now, like the green there, that's the dash strike now hits like all around me rather than just hitting a little area. So here we have a choice between a Palm power-up or a Demeter, which is like the winter chill effect, but it's a boss. So like this one, it's almost like the game's kind of, oh wait, we have a troll trial. Oh yeah, we'll take the troll trial. It gives us the purple, and I think we can do this.
Yeah. I think you just got that dash strike. Oh my god. Those damage numbers.
Awesome. And like I've noted a couple times, we do heal when we get purples, so this actually did heal us to full. So that was like if that's supposed to be a trial where it's like you're gonna take damage, but there's this, there's like, there's a reward, but then it was like we healed and got a reward. It's like very, very good. So here the Minotaur will sometimes fight you as a mini boss halfway through, but what's annoying is that he comes back basically at full health at the end.
Oh man, I love they actually gave him a character. That's nice.
He's in desperate need of your autograph. Little personalized message.
Yeah, and Hypnos is a big fan of the Minotaur, so he keeps asking for the autograph, but this is the first time that we've asked him.
Autograph. I see. Then it appears there are such gods as favor me. I will inscribe with parchment for your colleague then.
The god-forsaken Minotaur.
It's funny because like Theseus hates you and like constantly calls you like a fiend and everything, but then the Minotaur is like really nice. He's like, I love fighting you, like you're a great combatant. It's really like I love sparring with you because you can't die, like neither of you can die, so it's like, it's kind of funny.
Oh man, that's great. That's really excellent. Wow. I love games that like make me just smile at something. Like it just doesn't happen terribly often. Not, I mean, I smile fine. I'm not that edgy, but like,
okay, a Sasuke.
But it's not very often that I'm playing a game and I just get something of sheer joy in it, and like seeing that's just, it's very nice. Oh man, he's aggressive as shit.
What's funny is that my blade riffs are probably helping me out there.
Yeah, no kidding. Oh man, he's just running right through him too.
Oh shoot, we took 2 hits there. I mean, we're fine if you look at our health, but you know you don't want it. He's also probably my favorite fight because he's very predictable, but he is dangerous. Like some of the other bosses are not as predictable, but he'll do like those 2 strikes, then he'll do like a dive. All right, we got him to halfway, so now he's gonna like buff himself up a little bit. Ooh.
Ultimately, good timing on that too. I think you're working your way through this fight really fast. Clearly, he's got a lot of health.
If I just need a little bit more to get my call fully upgraded, and then he's basically donezo.
So do a lot of these fights start coming down to how fast can you get your call up? Or
no, unfortunately, because only the boss. I mean. Only the bosses do you really have enough time to get the call fully upgraded. The call can be good otherwise, but the problem is that, so like you have that one thing, right? Only the bosses can you get the call fully upgraded. And then, unfortunately, most of the time you just don't do enough damage with the call to the bosses. This was an instance, all right, where it actually did matter. So my cast fires longer and inflicts chill. Okay, that's really, really good. That's that like crystal that I summoned that does the laser. Applying 10 stacks of chill causes a blast, clearing the effect, and the blast does 90 damage, which is okay. Or, while I have no cast,
oh my god,
take 10% less damage and deal more. That one's pretty good. The thing is that I actually have a weird. I buffed my cast at the mirror, from where you like buff yourself, so that I get it back like every 5 seconds. So it's like that actually is not like normally what'll happen is you throw your cast out and you just don't have it for like 30 seconds unless you go pick it up. But now mine just recharges, so it's a little less good. I think I'm gonna do the cast fires longer and inflicts chill, and I'm gonna really hope that because there's a thing that you can get a boon between Artemis and Demeter, where your cast then like hones in on enemies really quick. Like you've seen where like it'll shoot out and like it kind of slowly moves towards enemies. If you get Artemis to buff it, then it'll just like zap to enemies and like it'll always be hitting something. And with the longer duration, I can might be able to get 3 of them out at a time.
Look who.
I hate these guys. They're like stupid bowmen.
Oh man, yeah. I'm assuming that's what the targets are.
Yeah. The only good thing is that I have I can dash so much that like I can actually kind of just dodge them.
Yeah, you basically just put them in like a black hole there. It's like you're going somewhere, you're getting trapped somewhere.
But if you see like there's a pink thing like denoting that I am like being targeted, and that is really a terrible feeling. Because like the only way is you either have to dodge it, which is quite difficult, or sorry, focused.
Oh yeah, get in.
Or you have to like be behind something, and dodging it is like really finicky. Like I haven't figured out like how to dodge it well.
Well, right now, you got so many dashes. It's just like, well.
Right.
Honestly, those dashes are doing a lot of work.
Oh, my wife
I don't know if you can get up to 5, but like that'd be insane.
I would have to increase the rarity of the buff, because that's one where like the buffs have 4 rarities, like common, rare, epic, and heroic, and we're at the rare to gain 2 extra dashes. I'm really happy though. I have not been able to give this guy a blessing, so this is
Hey, look, I can tell you're struggling right now, and
but I'm happy to give him. My wife's gonna be a little upset probably because she hasn't seen this keepsake yet. I mean, I haven't either. But this is Patroclus, or.
Well, I've no pride like many others here, so I shall take it.
This guy's like, I'm in heaven and I'm sad. Alright, he gave me the broken spear points. Cool. I don't know what you don't figure out what it does, but until you get to a keepsake cabinet.
Pride and glory and all that.
What's the use? Let's say we fought, if anybody asks. Now go. I've no quarrel with you. Besides, I'll just remain here comfortably at rest for some untold millennia, I guess. Have a nice whatever time it is.
Alright, so we can either, for the next 15 encounters, my Stubborn Defiance restores 50% more health, which is okay. The next 5 chambers restore 30% when you enter chamber, or Cyclops Jerky. The next 10 encounters, your attack deals 60% damage.
Ooh, well, you are going into that boss fight.
It's just the attack though, right? Not all my damage is up by that much. And the attack is what I use the least. I'm just going to take the Touch of Stick Start, because it is 15 encounters, which means it might reach the final boss. And more importantly, I think with a lot of the bosses, if I can make it to Hades especially. Oh yeah, spoiler, the final boss is Hades. Your dad. That's not really that big of a spoiler, let's be honest. It's the name of the damn game. But I'm gonna take that one because I always die against Hades, so it'll be nice to have a little extra health against him the second round. So here we can take money or we can take health. I'm gonna go ahead and take health again.
Yeah, plus you're like 291 coins, so
it's cool.
Oh, okay.
It was kind of free, yeah. All right, we'll take the Demeter here because the Demeter does give us the chance for that duo that I was telling you about too. Here's where that range comes in handy.
Those arrows too, they're just not a lot of damage, but the fact that you're getting every tick of it in. And that's really the build right now, is like nothing on its own does a lot of damage, but everything together does a substantial amount of work.
One thing that's nice about against the projectile-based guys is that sorry, focus again. I actually took quite a bit of damage there. Whoops. Is that the shield, when you throw it, it destroys projectiles, like when it hits them.
I've been noticing that. It seems like the shield is like, it requires a lot of tech to use, but it has a lot of versatility.
Mm-hmm. My boons become common. They gain rarity every...
Oh my god, that's...
encounters. Well, the problem is that would be good at the beginning, but not at the end. And it only affects one boon. I think I'll take the... Whenever I cast, damage foes around you and inflict chill. So whenever all foes are chill affected is 2, it's kind of too situational. Darn, I was really hoping to get the thing I was telling you about where like the thing hones in. Alright, so we could take Charon or Ares. We have 333. That's a lot of money. I'll take Charon here. I'm not... I also think that this might be the last one before the boss. Let me check. It is. Okay. So it'll be nice to...
Oh, you got another chance for your combo.
Yeah, she referenced Artemis, so that means that there's probably going to be a duo here.
She'd like it if we both could help you in this case.
Concerned? I don't see anyone concerned. You have this, Zagreus. You don't need anybody's help, and you can get through this all on your own.
Artemis is my BFF.
Just in case, and I mean just in case. Here.
It's like multiple duo here, yeah. The cast is stronger, it does a little more damage, and it tracks foes more effectively. So, yeah, we're definitely going to do that. And I'm not going to bother healing because I do not think that the 10 health is going to make a difference, but I probably just want to save that health. I'll just save that money for later. I also have a little bit of an interest buff, so whenever I keep money between like floors, I get a little buff of money. So, based on how much I have. So, Theseus. Ugh.
And what's this lesson that I ought to have learned?
I think you got this. I think you can do this. I don't want to jinx it, but I think you can do it.
This one's tough. You really have to use these pillars around because he keeps throwing the spear at you, and the spear will it's like with the other guys with the arrows that I was telling you about where they target you. The game teaches you about that function before you reach Theseus. But God, Theseus, is rough. They do a lot of damage on hit, both of these guys. So and there's 2 of them, so you just got to be on your A game. But I'll do my best.
Do they share a health bar, or do they have individual health bars?
They have individual health bars. You can kill one before the other, but the fight is so chaotic, I never been able to focus them too well.
Gotcha.
Oh.
You're already doing some good damage to the Minotaur with just the dashes and the crystals. But it sounds like Theseus is your. If you were gonna focus one, it sounds like you would rather have Theseus gone first.
So you have to run the bull into the things, which I love that kind of gameplay, right? Like you use the enemy's strengths against them. Oh.
Great arena design. Oh man.
The quadruple dash is really nice. Let's just be honest here.
It's doing so like it's not surprising to me that it's doing this much work. Again, like that. It's not. I've always felt like that's a pretty consistent thing across their games. That dashing is the most important mechanic. In Bastion, it's your only way to mitigate damage, so of course that matters. And Transistor, it's really critical to damage mitigation. Also, depending on how you stack it, damage dealing. It's just this is not surprising to me that the dash is this powerful when you've got the right combo with it. And honestly, it feels really good, or at least, I wouldn't know how it feels in this game. In Transistor,
no, it feels really good. Trust me, yeah. You're not wrong.
So, good on them again. Just, not to sit here and be like, man, this dev rocks, but man, that dev rocks.
They make very enjoyable games.
And sports ball.
The game, had an arrow? I thought it was telling me to go to the left or something. We have full health, though. It's pretty nice. We pretty much crushed that fight, to be honest. Well, that was good. That was really good. All right, we'll take the heal. Oh yeah, we can see in the keepsake cabinet what the new one does. After taking damage, I'm impervious for 1 second, and it refreshes every 7 seconds. I'm thinking about it. That's a new one, right? I don't have it. I normally take, for the final attempt, I take the Lucky Tooth. The Lucky Tooth gives you another die and then come back. And so I think I'm going to take that again, even though I am really curious about this spear point. The other thing about the keepsakes is that you level them up by clearing encounters while having them equipped. So the keepsake, I assume, will either make you impervious for damage for longer or refresh quicker the more when you level it up. But for now, we'll just take the Lucky Tooth, give ourselves the best chance of beating the final boss, because there isn't another room between now and the final boss, or another one of those rooms. There's the Labyrinth, this thing where it's kind of rat themed. It's kind of the grossest part. It's kind of weird that you go from Elysium to this, but well, first we got to go through the gear room, and I'm just gonna double check, make sure that none of these pots have money. The pots sometimes have money, and I don't do a great job of checking. But it's important to do it more at the end here because there's a final Karen shop and everything there is super expensive.
Ooh, how much? Double the price? Or?
Yeah, 1,000 gold for a diamond, or 450 for a boon, right? It's really allows you to spend your money. There's this thing. I'm not going to take it this time, but I often do, which is this 275 anvil. What it does is it takes away one of your Daedalus hammer buffs and then gives you 2 random ones. But I really like our Daedalus hammer buffs, so I'm not gonna risk it. But we do have a gain 25 health, so I'm going to do that. And I'm not going to take the Palm of Power. I'll save up for that Artemis buff. So this one is labyrinthine because you have 4 options you can go down here. And you can see there's a thing. And it's different than the rest of the game because it's not like it's one room. It's a bunch of rooms in a row with whatever the thing, the icon says at the end. But one of the 5 has the treat. Oh yeah, here. For Cerberus, our pet dog. right, Cerberus won't let us pass, but we can't fight Cerberus. We have to go get him a treat, and then he'll leave us alone, and he'll let us pass and go fight Dad. So this is kind of like almost like a endurance trial where you could end up hitting it right away, right, and getting what you want. But you also could like die on the way there, you know. But I don't think we're gonna die because we have to die twice in a room, and we're gonna heal up a lot. So I'm not too worried. We're pretty tough too.
And cramped rooms, if the rooms are tighter than they were previously, are only gonna help you because you have the gravity effect on that.
Oh yeah, that's true. Good point. I did take 3 damage in that room.
Oh my god. Yeah, you're just gonna shred those little guys.
Oh shoot, those guys these guys will poison you, and so you have to be careful. They like, there's a chamber or like a little pool that you can see in the top of the room that'll heal you if you're poisoned, but otherwise you'll just keep taking damage. So you have to kind of be careful about that.
That's rough.
The thing, and it takes like 5 seconds to replenish, so you get poisoned like right after you use it. You're really messing yourself over. Actually, let's look. So on the left-hand side, you can see the Stubborn Defiance thing. The thing that's buffing our if we die, we get more health. If it does it every one of these rooms, I'm gonna be really sad. Oh, he poisoned us. No, let me go.
Still at 10. Well, yeah, it's still at 10.
Well, we'll see it after this room. No, darn it. Okay, so that's a good thing to learn, is that basically you're not going to have that for Hades if you take it, even 15 encounters in. Because the Labyrinth is a lot of these little rooms. So this will be the last one of the Labyrinth here. Yeah, the rats can't get close to me, fortunately. Oh, I'm poisoned. Where's the thing? Oh god, seriously, where's the thing? Okay. Game, seriously. So actually, I know that this is not the end of the Labyrinth because this is the final room in the Labyrinth, and the final room actually will not have a fight in it, surprisingly enough.
Huh.
The final room will just have the sack of treats that you need to give to Cerberus.
Oh man, yeah, this is just a lot.
Yeah, we actually didn't take too much damage. That final room also will have a big heal. So only taking like 20 damage, which is what we took there, we're fine. We'll still get healed up. So any healing effects restore more health and restore a bunch of health now. We don't need the health, and we probably won't need that bonus forever. After I take damage, completely chill my foe, and deal damage to them. Or while all foes are chill affected, they are 10% slower and decay. They take 20 damage every half a second. I'll take that one because with Hades, he's usually the only person on the field. He summons some guys, but it's pretty easy to chill affect all of them. All right, so let's go ahead and we'll take the money route this next time.
Oh man. Yeah, this is the only part of the game that feels more like a traditional roguelike from its like color palette, but I think it's mainly there to make sure that you're paying attention to where the poison fountains are.
Oh yeah.
I get why they're doing it here. They're like, oh, we want to make sure that we don't complicate your vision with a bunch of color. When you're dealing with this many like particular effects, you're gonna have to work off actively.
Oh frick! All right, that time it was good. Just dash through them.
God, just shreds them. Oh man,
it's beautiful. Oh, money pot. The end here has a lot of money pots in it, so it's kind of important to keep your eye out. No, stop hitting me, please. Luckily, those lasers, like they're like when the enemies fire the lasers, it's functions similarly to how our don't want anything. Well, I'll look. Your special deals 40% more damage for the next 16 hours. I mean, if I could guarantee I had that for the boss, I would do it, but nah.
What's up with the fateful twist?
Oh, what one was that? Oh, we did make it. Oh, we will have it for the boss. The bonus to our health.
Oh my god! Wow.
That's nice. So we found the room that heals us to full and does everything, and we have enough money to get the Artemis bonus. So the money's useless after, I assume. So after you crit a foe near it is marked. Your God gauge charges up faster when you deal crit damage, or your critical effects deal even more damage to armor. Well, Hades doesn't have armor, so we'll do our God gauge goes up faster. The God gauge is that call.
So what's with the diamond anyway? I know you can't afford it, but what does
the diamond is another in-between round collectibles, like the purple stuff. The purple stuff is what you use to buff yourself. The diamond is used to renovate hell, actually. So like, for instance, like the fountains that heal me in between the rounds, I'd like purchase them in between. And so, but the diamonds are the rare one. There's gems, which are like the less rare one. All right, well, here we go. We got a Hades here. So my goal for this is going to be to avoid damage and just be launching those casts, the little laser rays at them, because then I can focus on just avoiding damage.
It grew distinctly colder just as you arrived. So Demeter has been in contact with you then. That witch. Tell me how much she knows.
She knows about what?
What? I don't... Wait, this everlasting winter, it's her doing, isn't it? Why? Don't mortals die when it's cold? Sounds like a lot of extra work for you.
Then you are ignorant. Keep it that way with her, lest you risk everything, you understand. The consequences will be far worse.
Yeah, there's definitely like a narrative going on underneath about an everlasting winter above, but the game hasn't really explored it yet, because you only learn about the winter above when you come up to fight Hades at the surface of the material world.
Gotcha.
All right, Hades.
Yeah, they seem to be setting up for a sequel in a lot of ways they didn't in their previous games. Which, I mean, like, cool. If a Supergiant game was going to get a sequel, I'd be happy that it's this one. Oh man, yeah, that tick damage is just... I'm gonna stay as quiet as I can be for most of this because you got yikes.
It's okay if you want to talk. We're on a stream, you know.
Yeah, but this is high focus time.
Let's see. Oh, he darkness. So he goes invisible for a sec, but you can actually track him through the snow. Great level design. Like,
fantastic. So smart.
All right, so there's some. Oh, it's one of the fucking bowmen. God, fucking. I get like irrationally angry, and I'm like, I just have to kill the damn bowmen.
Your dash gets you out a lot of trouble with their marksmanship, though. So, you know, I think this 4 dash is once again coming in handy.
Oh, I gotta kill their thing. Okay, good. So those skull things will, if you leave them alone, what they will do, he summon. Okay, so he does not always summon the archers here. I just want to make that really clear. Like, he often will summon like the other enemies. That's all I want to say about that. And he's not right now, which is fine.
Oh, he's just giving you a hard time for some reason. I don't know. Oh man.
Oh frick.
Use your call, get rid of the archers. So those are giving you more trouble than him, honestly.
Yeah. Oh, we took a big chunk. You cannot get hit by Hades' sphere. It is... Okay. We did it! We did it! Just kidding! You know it's a just kidding!
Oh my God.
I don't even know if there's a third phase. I've never beaten the second phase, so that went pretty well. We still have 2 deaths that we have, so that's good. And our one of our deaths will refund us almost to full. So
damn. So it's at least a 2-phase. Oh god, this is gonna be rough. I really hope he doesn't keep spawning those goddamn archers. That must have been a really fun fake out the first time.
Yeah, the first fight is also a lot easier. Not saying it's like way easier, but the first it is way easier. Let's be honest. That's the kind of game this is. Hold on, I'm gonna turn up the volume. The music is so good here. It really gets you just in the mood for like what this is.
To brutally attack your father.
Oh god. See, again, the level design, right? The game is taking like one of the beautiful things, right? About a lot of games do this, but like it's right. All the things that you did early on matter now. Like you need to get behind those pillars to you know, just like before. Like the dashes they're making such a difference. Oh frick.
Yeah, you're still in this. First bar of health, you're still in this. He's almost knocked down phase 2, so yeah. If you can just survive with your health, any health, yeah, excellent stuff.
Yes, we did it!
Oh my god!
Serious play is the best. I do notice that I play games way better when I'm streaming, which is weird. I would think that it's the opposite. Like, you're being watched, right? You're, like, self-conscious, but I just tend to zone in more when I'm playing.
I told you that I would, Father.
Well, thank goodness. Like, nice job. Pre 30 runs.
And I'm going to. Goodbye.
Wait, just... If you...
Oh, yeah. So the plot is that you're looking for your mom, who's, like, immortal or something.
Tell her something for me. Tell her.
That's fun.
Tell her Cerberus is doing very well.
He's got a real nice hat.
I don't think I owe you
Hades.
here. Now answer me one question and I'll give it some thought. How's that?
I know your question, boy. But ask it anyway.
Persephone, my mother. Why did she leave?
Blood and darkness. There is no escape.
There's no escape. That's not good. Our whole goal is to escape. Victory. There we go.
Yeah.
I guess I'll go ahead and print screen that.
Nice.
All right. So wait. So now what? Now what happens? Game. There's a narrative that I care about here. Wait. What is this select function?
That's a good question. Do you get to keep some of your power-ups from your previous run if you succeed?
I don't know. I wish the game was more clear about what this is. Or maybe it's... I think this might just be a way for you to look at your things all together at once. Maybe. I'm not sure. Alright, but just in case for some reason they hang over, we're gonna do this, that, like, cause you know how we had the crystal beam? I'm just gonna do all the crystal beams.
Alright.
And then was there one that was really good other than that? Oh, the dashes. We'll do that. Yes. All right, there we go. I don't know what to do now though. Do I hit B?
I imagine it's a little like...
Okay, Titan's Blood.
Ooh.
Titan's Blood help you upgrade the weapons.
Fun.
All right, R1, leave. The world is a snowy wasteland.
I made it. Beyond the frozen overlook, await the first glimpse of the sun to your left, and onward through the cold. Sure hope this works, Nix.
Oh my god, I'm walking so slow. Video games, seriously. So, this might be... I mean, now, we're definitely in spoilers territory. If you're watching this, I don't know what you expect. But one of my theories is that everything's frozen above, and that the different levels of, like, escape are called heat levels. Like, if you beat it once, you go to heat level 1. And I wonder if you have to heat up hell enough to heat up the world above.
That's really interesting. Oh my god, that's cool.
Freezing cold, nonetheless instills within the prince a sense of awe and the sublime. For it is unlike anything that he has seen.
At least I can show this VOD to my wife, so she can't get too mad that I got far. Because she's watched me do every run up, and this is the only run she didn't watch me. And I'm using the damn shield, like my worst item. Like I specifically picked my worst weapon. So it's like I'll pick one that I'm bad at. That way, you know, that way I won't win.
And there you go with the shield, just kicking lots of ass.
Yeah, well, that laser is so good. Passive damage is like so good because then you can focus on not getting hit, which, as we started the stream with, right? Not getting hit is really important.
Is this a cat?
Who's there?
Ooh, well, now you can run.
Hello?
Hey, look at that.
Indeed. Pray, who might you be wandering all the way out here? You're trespassing on private property, you know.
I don't think the Greeks had a concept of private property.
You must be Persephone. My name is Zagreus, and I think I might be your son.
What? How dare! Get out of here! Get out, or I shall make you! Out with you!
No, so then you are her. I don't care if you hate me, but I'm not leaving until I get some answers. I never even knew you existed. Why did you leave me?
You died. You died. Those burning feet, they sputtered out when you were born. But now you're standing here before me.
Goddess of verdure? What is verdure? Do you know what that word means?
I should, but my...
I died.
Well, that's not what it means. Lush vegetation is the literal
Gods.
definition.
You never even knew I existed either.
Alive. Zagreus, he even kept your name. You live. How can this be? You live. You live. Oh, the cruel fates. My son.
Mother.
Time passes. The game has a weird meta-narrative irony to it. The narrator of the game, you can Zagreus can hear the narrator of the game, and he often kind of speaks to them sarcastically.
To tell you in the end. He said to tell you Cerberus is doing very well.
Ah, he told you that, did he? That's good. That's good. Though, tell me something, Zagreus. How is it that you found me? To have journeyed all this way, I scarce believe it. Zagreus?
Oh, guess I'm just a little tired, that's all. Not accustomed to the weather, as I think you call it.
No. No, that isn't it. It's that you cannot stay here. You can't stay here.
Really, you're kicking me out? Why?
The fates are cruel, Zagreus. You're bound to that place. Same as your father. So they would have us say goodbye. For now. My heart soars knowing you live. Then it breaks that our time together was so brief.
Music is good in this section too.
No.
I'll have to take your word for it.
I can come back. Now that I found you, maybe he'll just let me come back.
You tell him I demand it. And I demand he also tell me how come he Or for that matter, Nyx, never sent notice that you lived. Olympus is all rife with schemers. But I was so naive to think that they were different.
I'll tell him. I'll tell him. I feel awful. I have to go.
The Styx shall take you then. Oh, Zagreus. Farewell, my son. Won't you come back to me? When you are able, please. Come back. I shall be waiting here. However long it takes.
And we still died. No! I thought we won! It's always like this with roguelikes. The game never ever really ends. It's like speedrunning.
Mother, I have to get back there.
What a way to end that that encounter.
And that's the end of our stream. Nice transition setup. All right. Obviously, this was a 2-hour episode of Lunch Zone because you know what? Fuck it. We can do what we want. It's Friday afternoon, having a good time. Thank you for joining us, everyone in the chat and watching on the stream. You guys have a fantastic day. You just watched me beat Hades for the first time. Bye.
See you guys.